What's up, guys? And guess who's back? OG Anunoby is back for the New York Knicks. Um, it was great. It's great to see him back. Now, my biggest thing today was too limited turnovers. I think that was great. I think the Knicks did a great job of just limiting turnovers. I think when they lost some in the start of the third quarter, it was because they turned the ball over. Um, I think that letting this team get in transition, especially now with Tyrese Maxey, who Tyrese Maxey is a blur. Other than him being like an all-star point guard who can score at 3 levels, he's a blur in transition. She don't really want to let him get the ball in transition. That's obvious. I mean, um, could this be a starting five going forward, or is it matchup dependent? So, starting five that they went with was Jalen Brunson, Dante Vincenzo, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't think it's match dependent, but I think it's a good question I ask because you would think Thibs would like double bigs, but I don't know. It depends. I mean, it's definitely stuff that you have in your back pocket. If you're Tom Thibodeau, that's definitely something you have in your back pocket that you didn't have before. To be able to run a double big lineup if you feel like it on the day, like it ran on Wednesday. You feel like running a double big lineup? Thibodeau, you got two bigs, so you can run a double big lineup. I think that's kind of like a luxury that he has. But I think running Josh Hart in the 3/4 position is great. The way he's shooting that basketball creates so much spacing for this Knicks team. Um, could Thibs go with pressure to the 5 with OG? Um, like on the bench? I think so. I mean, that's my thing. They could be a very switchable group. Um, Precious and OG because they can both versatile. Precious can come out and guard the perimeter, and OG can drop down and guard the center, especially if it ain't Embiid. So I think that could work well. And if you're gonna have that backup unit with Precious at 5, I loved every minute of it. Maybe the ball will go in today. Maybe the Knicks will hit shots, and they did. Didn't go in for the 76ers, but I credit that more on great defense by the Knicks. Um, the 76ers were really flustered by this Knicks defense. I mean, it's a lot to give credit to with OG. A lot of credit to go to him. I mean, they scored the same amount of points in 2 games. And you're not going to win 2 games in a row by scoring in both games 79. You barely won the first game. So I just don't understand. This 76ers team needs a lot of help. And scoring wise, without Joel Embiid is definitely going to be something they need to address. I mean, their team is so built around Joel Embiid, they don't got players who can put them on the floor, other than Maxey. Buddy Hield is more of a spot up shooter that will work with Joel Embiid. Like, Buddy Hield with the ball on the floor, like, not really built to be like that. I mean, he can do it, but he's not really built for that. Um, Everything feels so much better with for everything feels so much better with no double bigs. That's not disrespect to Precious. It's just way more spacing, and you can rely on is Hart going to make this dive to the paint, and then can Hart make a decision out of that? So it's not two centers, and it's not two bigs. Just let's focus on one of them in the starting lineup. Let's run this Isaiah Hartenstein, Jalen Brunson pick and roll, and then let's have Hart slip, and let's have Hart make a decision because we trust the decision making. And in the corner will be Hart. Um, It'd be Hart, OG, Brunson. Like it'll be good players in the corner that you can throw the ball out to. Bojan, like there'll be good players who can throw the ball to, and that's the point there with having OG back. OG doing all the little stuff and helping us physically. I mean, the Knicks just looked bigger today, and they looked like they were the more physical team because they were bigger. And obviously, you'll make that trade for RJ Barrett for OG Anunoby, RJ Barrett and IQ for OG Anunoby because you want to get bigger. And you lose that guy, then you obviously will look smaller. And I feel like the Knicks today dominated the physicality because of how big they got with OG at the 3 position. Josh Hart in his element. I think there's not a lot of stuff he needs to do. He just needs to focus on let's get this rebound. Let's dive in because I don't need to go be this third scorer. I don't need to be this big time scoring option because now OG's back to take that load off of me. So I could do the little stuff, which at the end of the day turn into big stuff. But I think going forward it would help him clear his role. Like this is my role to dive and get these loose balls, not to score 20 every single game. Great game by Josh Hart. I don't really think that's gonna be his role going forward. And to kind of clear that out in his mind, be like, this is my role for the rest of the season. And I'm just gonna give it the best I possibly can. I think Josh Hart pressing himself to do a little bit too much offensively. He was doing great, but I just feel like he's more in his element now. Um, OG subbed out for Bojan. I think that's something that Thibs wanted to do first because they don't really have that kind of chemistry with each other. I would like to see OG with Bojan more. I think that's something that I want to see, but it could be coming soon as they get more chemistry in practice. Um, so you know, Precious did some great stuff on the bench, and we'll talk about this bench unit of Deuce, Dante, Hart, Bojan, and Precious. Beautiful. Now I was talking to my friend about this. It's a very good kind of mix of scrappy and score. Now, I feel like the scrappiness you get from Deuce, you get from Hart, you get from Precious, but you can also add in the scoring of somebody like a Bojan, somebody like a Dante, and Dante can also be a scrappy player, so it kind of goes in both. And it just shows how good of a player Dante is. The scoring of just Bojan and Dante kind of gives Dibs that kind of balance, which you're looking for at the end of the day. When you put together a bench lineup, you're always looking for balance. You're always looking for balance, and I think Thibodeau got that lineup. With a Dante, with a Dukes, with a Hart, with a Bojan, Precious. Bojan did not do a lot today. But I do like that lineup, and I feel like he'll be able to do a lot more and spread his wings in a lineup like this. I call this the fun lineup for now. I'm gonna make a name for it. I don't know. It could be called the Deuces Loose lineup. I don't know, man. I don't know. But for now, it's just a fun lineup, man. I really do like it because I do like Precious the 5 and Hart's playing amazing defensively. So in these last few games, he's just an amazing defender, by the way. So he kind of and same with Dante, same with Deuce. So they can kind of negate the kind of defensive mistake from Bojan. Didn't really look like he made a ton today. You have Precious down low, which we talked about Precious' versatility. Thibs trying OG and Bojan on the court together. He tried for a little bit. I do think it's great for both players because OG can kind of spot up in the 3-point shot. He can kind of, get easy looks from Bojan. And Bojan can also not put so much pressure defensively. Like now you have OG and it will take a big assignment who will, kind of switch, who kind of mask you defensively so you don't have to go crazy. And Bojan definitely at his age doesn't need to go crazy defensively. I'm gonna give a shout out to iHeart and his 3 fouls early. Not that obviously that's not a good thing, but he was able to, still be impactful without fouling. And he didn't foul out of that game, which some players would. Some players would get another 2 fouls. Thibodeau would have to take him out. He did take him out, but he didn't foul. For a point, Thibodeau put him in with 3 fouls. He could have fouled out. I mean, he could have got his fourth. Hands up. Then Thibodeau obviously had to take him out because, just in case you get a fourth foul. And, you also had you don't want to play the full 48. Obviously, Thibodeau, you don't want to play the full 48. But you have to put another player like Precious, how good he was playing. So you have to take him out. But then he came back in and didn't really foul again. So, if I was to look at how many fouls iHeart left with, this is just something that, you can rely on. About a guy you can, that you can rely on to not go crazy when it comes to fouls. I don't even know how to whatever. I'm gonna look at it later. But these Detroit boys did not look good today. When I mean Detroit boys, I mean Burks and And Bojan did not really look good today, but I feel like Bojan could have took more shots. Brooks is just going crazy offensively in a bad way. He's chucking up everything. But again, I do think it's hard because it's kind of a hard transition to go from Detroit to New York. A team in Detroit that wasn't going for anything, so you could do that stuff. But now in New York, you really can't. So it's kind of like you're gonna have to teach him a lesson, kind of. And it's kind of something that Dibs wasn't ready to do because you were gonna bring him in. As I said when we made the trade, you know what you're gonna get from Alec Burks. Now we don't know what we're gonna get from Alec Burks. Now we need to go back to the lab and tell him that, man, you can't be shooting like this. You ain't on Detroit anymore. Say it flat out, like you can't really shoot like that anymore. You're gonna hurt the team. And it's a team that's gonna contend. A team that's the 4th seed in the East right now. So you might be hurting a Pistons team, but that won't no one will really care that much. But now you're playing on a 4th seed team, so it's like, hey, kind of matters a little bit more. A lot more. Value the basketball. And that was my kind of what I said in the start of the third when the Philly got to get that run going, was to value the basketball because Philly was so good even shorthanded of just getting on transition. It was simple that they were able to get on transition, create good opportunities. Josh Hart's playmaking evolution has been amazing. Amazing to watch. Just him being able to take pressure off of Jalen Brunson. They can run some offense with Dante, Jalen Brunson off ball, and just it opens up so much more. And he can also pass stats a little bit if get himself a trip dub. It's great to see. Josh Hart 19 boards, 19 boards, 10 assists, 20 points, just stuff in the stat sheet. I mean, just stuff in the stat sheet. I think that's all you can say. And great to see OG back. Let's go Knicks. Have a nice day. Peace out. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and also 5-star this. And subscribe. Peace out.